Welcome to Cryptid Files. I'm your host, Paige Carter. As the sun set over the murky waters of Boggy Creek, darkness would creep into the small town of Falk, Arkansas. The town, with its population barely scratching the 300 mark, nestled itself amidst dense woods and isolated paths, a perfect setting for a story that continues to perplex, intrigue, and at times, terrify its dwellers. The air in Falk is heavy, not just with the musky scent of the surrounding swamp, but also with tales of the unexplained. Whispers of an eerie presence that lurked in the shadows would send chills down the most courageous of spines. For Falk was not just a town, it was the home of a legend that has echoed through generations, a legend that is as much a part of its identity as its humble population. A legend we have come to know as the Legend of Boggy Creek. The day would begin like any other in Falk, with the chirping of birds and the rustling of leaves. But as night fell, an unsettling stillness would descend. The usual sounds of the forest were replaced by an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional hooting of an owl or the rustling of bushes. It was in this deafening quiet that the creature would make its presence known. Described by witnesses as a large, hairy, bipedal creature, it was no mere figment of imagination. The people of Falk knew it by one name, the Falk Monster. It didn't take long for the first encounter to seep into the folklore of the town. A tale passed down generations, a tale that never lost its chilling essence. The Falk Monster was not just a creature of the woods, it was a specter that haunted the dreams of the people, a living embodiment of their deepest fears. The Falk Monster, as elusive as it was menacing, left behind evidence of its existence. From footprints to damaged property, and an uncanny sense of dread that would hang over the town, the creature was very much a part of Falk's reality. As much as some tried to dismiss it as mere folklore, the town knew better. It knew that when the sun set over Boggy Creek, it was not alone. As the night deepened, the people of Falk would retreat into their homes, the sounds of the forest replaced by the creaking of floorboards and the rustling of curtains. The town would hold its breath, its silence echoing the unspoken fear of what lurked in the woods. And in the heart of this fear, the legend of the Falk Monster thrived, refusing to be dismissed as a mere tale, persisting in the collective memory of a town that had seen too much and knew too much. The woods of Boggy Creek held a secret that was not just part of Falk's past, but also its present, and perhaps its future. The origins of the Falk Monster are shrouded in the mists of time, deeply intertwined with the history of Falk and its people. The first sightings were reported in the early 1900s, but tales of a mysterious creature lurking in the woods were part of local folklore long before that. These early encounters, though often dismissed as the exaggerations of frightened people, laid the foundation for the legend as we know it today. The first documented sighting occurred in 1908 when a local farmer claimed to have seen a large, hairy creature roaming near his property at dusk. Over the next few years, more reports trickled in. Each account echoed the other. A towering, bipedal creature, covered in hair, with a chilling, almost human-like gaze. The story of the Falk Monster quickly spread, evolving and growing with each retelling. The creature was said to emit a blood-curdling scream that echoed through the silent forest, adding a layer of terror to the already disturbing accounts. Tales of livestock disappearing and strange, heavy footprints found near the creek only fueled the growing fear and fascination. The legend was further entrenched in the community after a string of sightings in the late 1940s. By this time, the creature was not just a local legend, but a palpable presence that cast a long, chilling shadow over the town. In the 1950s and 60s, the story of the Falk Monster began to reach beyond the borders of Falk, attracting the attention of curious outsiders. The creature was featured in newspapers and magazines, its legend growing with every article. The creature was no longer just a part of local folklore. It had become a national phenomenon. The 1972 docudrama, The Legend of Boggy Creek, directed by Charles B. Pierce, further popularized the Falk Monster. The film, which featured dramatic reenactments of encounters with the creature, sparked a surge of interest in the legend. Sightings increased, and Fouke, once a quiet town known only to its residents, became the center of a cryptid mystery that continues to fascinate and terrify. The creature's fame did not diminish its power or mystery. If anything, the spread of its legend only deepened the sense of unease that hung over Fouke. The Falk Monster, now a symbol of the town's complex relationship with its past and an embodiment of its deepest fears, remained as elusive and terrifying as ever. The woods of Boggy Creek continued to hold their secret, a secret that was as much a part of Fouke as the people who lived there. Over the years, eyewitness testimonies have painted a vivid picture of the Falk Monster, with some variations but a few consistent details. Many describe the creature as standing over 7 feet tall, with a muscular build, covered head to toe in coarse, dark hair. Its eyes are often reported as glowing red, or at least reflecting light in a way that gives off a luminescent glow in the moonlight. Its most distinctive feature, according to many accounts, is a chilling, almost human-like gaze that conveys an uncanny intelligence and a strange sense of familiarity. One of the earliest detailed accounts came from a local hunter who in the early 1950s claimed to have come face to face with the beast. He described the creature as having broad shoulders, long arms, and a hunched posture, like a man trying to move quietly through the underbrush. He also noted its powerful, sulfurous stench, reminiscent of rotting vegetation and swamp gas. This hunter's account was the first to mention the creature's distinctive, mournful howl, a sound that echoed through the silent woods and sent shivers down the spines of those who heard it. Local lore also tells of the creature's unsettling behavior. Some accounts suggest a particular interest in livestock, with multiple instances of cattle and sheep disappearing from local farms, only to be found later in the woods, grotesquely mutilated. Others speak of strange, heavy footprints found near the creek, each one larger and deeper than a human footprint. There are whispers, too, of the creature showing a keen interest in human activity, with stories of it peering into windows at night or even attempting to open doors. These stories have left an indelible mark on the community. Parents caution their children to come home before dark, stories of the Falk Monster serving as cautionary tales to keep the young ones in line. The creature has become a part of the community's shared consciousness, a symbol of the unknown that lurks at the edges of civilization. In the years following the release of The Legend of Boggy Creek, the number of sightings increased, with people from outside the community reporting encounters. These accounts often mirrored those of the locals, lending further credence to the enigma of the Falk Monster. The creature's description remained remarkably consistent, and its behavior, as reported by these witnesses, matched that of the local accounts. The Falk Monster, despite its fame, remains shrouded in mystery. Each new account adds another layer to its legend, enriching the narrative but never fully unveiling the creature. The woods of Boggy Creek continue to whisper their secret, a secret as chilling and elusive as the monster that purportedly roams its depths. Over time, numerous physical evidences linked to the Falk Monster have been collected and studied. From grainy photographs to plaster casts of footprints, every fragment of potential evidence has been analyzed by researchers and investigators seeking answers. The footprints found near Boggy Creek are perhaps the most intriguing. They are significantly larger and deeper than a human's, with an odd pattern that doesn't match any known animal native to the region. Some of these prints have been preserved in plaster casts, and they display an unusual 5-toed pattern with a thumb-like digit, suggesting a primate-like foot structure. The depth of the prints indicates a creature of considerable weight, lending credence to the reports of a hulking, bipedal figure. Several photographs purportedly showing the creature have also been subject to detailed scrutiny. The most famous among them is a blurry image of a hulking figure crouched near the tree line. While the photograph's poor quality makes definitive identification impossible, The figure's size and posture align with descriptions of the creature. Audio recordings of the creature's eerie howl have also been analyzed. These chilling sounds do not match any known animal vocalizations in the region. Some researchers have suggested a similarity to primate calls, while others have noted an uncanny resemblance to human-like cries of distress. There have also been claims of finding hair and tissue samples, allegedly from the creature. However, these samples have either been lost, contaminated, or the results of their analysis have been inconclusive. Despite these setbacks, the search for definitive physical evidence continues. Cryptozoologists such as Lauren Coleman and Dr. Jeff Meldrum have studied the Falk Monster phenomenon for decades. Coleman, one of the most respected figures in the field, has written extensively on the subject, ensuring that the tale of the Falk Monster remains alive in the public consciousness. Dr. Meldrum, a professor of anatomy and anthropology, has examined the plaster casts of the footprints, noting their consistency with other Bigfoot-like creature sightings across North America. These investigations have given rise to more questions than answers. The Falk Monster remains an enigma, a shadowy figure lurking just beyond the reach of understanding. This lack of conclusive evidence only serves to deepen the mystery surrounding the creature, fueling speculations and keeping the legend alive. As the search for answers continues, so does the fascination with this elusive denizen of Boggy Creek. The truth, it seems, remains hidden amongst the trees, waiting to be discovered. While many are captivated by the enigmatic nature of the Falk Monster, others entertain more rational explanations for the sightings and the evidence that has been collected over the years. They propose theories of hoaxes, misidentifications, and point to a lack of concrete scientific evidence to definitively prove the creature's existence. The idea of hoaxes is not uncommon in the field of cryptozoology. Indeed, the history of the subject is littered with instances of fabricated evidence, from staged photographs to fake footprints. Could the Falk Monster be another such deception? Skeptics have suggested that the footprints, photographs, and even the chilling howls attributed to the creature could have been cleverly staged to perpetuate the legend. These skeptics also point to the commercial value of the Falk Monster, citing the tourism and merchandising income it brings to the small town of Fouke as potential motivation for such a hoax. Alternatively, the sightings of the Falk Monster could be cases of misidentification. The dense forests of Miller County are home to a wide variety of wildlife, including black bears. A bear standing on its hind legs could be mistaken for a bipedal creature, especially in low light or at a distance. Moreover, the howls attributed to the creature could be the vocalizations of known animals, distorted or misinterpreted due to the acoustics of the forest or the heightened state of fear of the listeners. Skeptics also argue that the lack of definitive scientific evidence is a significant barrier to accepting the existence of the Falk Monster. While the footprints, photographs, and audio recordings are intriguing, none have provided incontrovertible proof of a new species. The purported hair and tissue samples have been either lost, contaminated, or yielded inconclusive results, further muddying the waters. Yet, despite these rational explanations, the mystery of the Falk Monster is far from solved. None can conclusively prove that the sightings and evidence are merely the result of hoaxes, misidentifications, or normal animal activity. The creature's elusive nature continues to captivate, and the lack of definitive answers keeps the legend alive. The Falk Monster remains a tantalizing enigma, a symbol of the unknown that lingers just beyond our understanding, hidden deep within the forests of Boggy Creek. As the legend of the Falk Monster grew, it began to attract the attention of not only the local community, but also government authorities and the media. Their involvement would shape the narrative in unexpected ways, adding layers of complexity to the already enigmatic tale. In the early 1970s, the Miller County Sheriff's Department was inundated with reports of the Falk Monster. The department's initial response was to treat these reports as a local curiosity, attributing them to overactive imaginations or mistaken wildlife sightings. Yet, as the number of reports increased, they found themselves compelled to investigate. They conducted nighttime patrols, collected alleged physical evidence, and interviewed numerous eyewitnesses. Although their findings remained inconclusive, the very act of their involvement lent a degree of credibility to the accounts. These official investigations were met with mixed reactions. Some hailed them as a necessary step towards unveiling the truth, while others accused the authorities of perpetuating the myth for their gain. The suspicion of a potential cover-up was fueled when the department's case files on the Falk Monster mysteriously disappeared. This intrigue was not lost on the media. The Falk Monster quickly became a sensation, making headlines in newspapers and magazines across the country. Journalists flocked to Miller County, eager to cover the story that had captured the nation's imagination. Their stories ranged from the sensational, with headlines promising proof of the creature's existence, to the skeptical, questioning the credibility of the witnesses and the motives of the authorities. The media frenzy culminated in the 1972 docudrama, The Legend of Boggy Creek. Directed by Charles B. Pierce, the film dramatized the local encounters with the Falk Monster, becoming a surprise box office hit. While the film was criticized for its sensationalism and lack of scientific rigor, it undoubtedly cemented the Falk Monster's place in popular culture. The government and media's involvement in the Falk Monster legend is a testament to its enduring fascination. Yet, it also complicates the quest for truth. The introduction of official investigations, classified documents, and media coverage raises questions about their motivations and the veracity of their findings. Thus, the line between fact and fiction becomes increasingly blurred, making the mystery of the Falk Monster even more elusive. The Falk Monster is not an isolated phenomenon. All around the world, there exist stories of similar creatures that lurk in the shadows, existing just beyond the periphery of human understanding. These tales span cultures, continents, and centuries, revealing a pattern of recurring archetypes and shared fears that seem to transcend geographical and temporal boundaries. In North America, the most notable parallel to the Falk Monster is the Sasquatch, or Bigfoot, a large, hairy, bipedal hominid reported to inhabit the forests of the Pacific Northwest. The Sasquatch shares many physical characteristics with the Falk Monster, including its size, hairiness, and bipedal locomotion. However, the behavior attributed to the Sasquatch is generally less aggressive than that of the Falk Monster, with most reports describing the creature as shy and elusive. In Asia, the Yeti, or the abominable snowman, is a cryptid said to inhabit the Himalayan region. Like the Falk Monster, the Yeti is often depicted as a large, hairy, bipedal creature, and while the Yeti is typically associated with snowy, mountainous terrain as opposed to the swampy habitat of the Falk Monster, both creatures are characterized by their elusiveness, leaving behind only footprints and other indirect evidence of their existence. Even in Australia, there are tales of the yowie, a creature described as a cross between a human and an ape, much like the Falk Monster. The yowie is said to inhabit the wilderness of the Australian outback, with many reported sightings in New South Wales and Queensland. It's not just physical characteristics that link these creatures. In many indigenous cultures worldwide, these cryptids are deeply embedded in folklore and spiritual beliefs. The Sasquatch, for example, is a central figure in many Native American legends, serving as a symbol of the wilderness and its mysteries. The Yeti, too, holds a significant place in Himalayan folk beliefs, often seen as a guardian of the mountains. These similarities beg the question: are these disparate sightings across the globe simply the result of cultural exchange and shared human psychology, or do they point to a hidden, universal truth? The recurring themes in these stories, a fear of the unknown, a fascination with the wild, a yearning to understand our place in the natural world, seem to point to something deeply ingrained in the human psyche. Whether the Falk Monster and its cousins around the world are real or imagined, their existence in our collective consciousness speaks to our shared human experience, our desire to explore, to understand, and to connect with the mysteries of the world around us. In the digital age, the hunt for the Falk Monster has taken a decidedly modern turn. Sightings, once relayed through word of mouth or written accounts, are now captured in real time on smartphones and shared instantly with the world via social media. Viral videos purporting to show the creature in its natural habitat have sparked heated debates among believers and skeptics alike. One such video, uploaded to YouTube in 2015, shows a large, hairy figure moving through the undergrowth on the outskirts of Fouke, Arkansas. While it's easy to dismiss such footage as a hoax, the video's shaky quality and the creature's seemingly authentic movements have convinced many of its authenticity. The advent of drone technology has also revolutionized the search for the Falk Monster. These remote-controlled aerial vehicles can cover vast areas of land, venturing into the densest parts of the swamp where humans fear to tread. Footage captured by drones has yielded some of the most intriguing evidence to date. In 2018, a drone operator captured what appeared to be a large, bipedal creature wading through the murky waters of Boggy Creek. The figure, covered in matted hair, looked strikingly similar to the descriptions of the Falk Monster. The video quickly gained traction online, rekindling interest in the legend. Trail cameras, too, have played a significant role in modern-day monster hunting. These motion-activated devices are often used by wildlife researchers and hunters to monitor animal activity. In recent years, several puzzling images have emerged from trail cameras set up in the Falk area. One particularly compelling photo, taken in 2017, shows a massive, hunched figure with glowing eyes standing at the edge of a clearing. Digital enhancements and analysis of these images and videos have provided new insights, yet they also stoke the fires of controversy. Believers point to these digital artifacts as undeniable proof of the Falk Monster's existence, while skeptics argue that they are simply misidentifications or cleverly crafted hoaxes. While technology has undoubtedly transformed the hunt for the Falk Monster, it has not brought us any closer to definitive proof. Each new piece of evidence seems only to deepen the mystery, further entrenching the divide between believers and skeptics. Yet, for those who believe, each new sighting, each grainy video or blurry photograph, offers a tantalizing glimpse into a world that exists just beyond our understanding. It fuels the hope that one day the enigma of the Falk Monster will finally be unraveled. But until then, the legend continues to captivate, lurking in the shadows of Boggy Creek, a symbol of the unexplored and the unknown. The enduring appeal of cryptid stories like the Falk Monster may seem puzzling at first glance, yet from a psychological perspective, these tales resonate deeply with the human psyche, tapping into archetypal fears and desires that are embedded within us. They represent a manifestation of our collective fascination with the unknown, the unexplored, and the unexplainable. To understand this allure, we must delve into the subconscious elements they engage. Cryptids, like the Falk Monster, often embody our primal fear of the wild and the monstrous. They allow us to externalize our anxieties and confront them in a tangible form. A creature lurking in the shadows, a beast hidden in the depths of a murky swamp. Moreover, these creatures often exist on the fringes of our known world, symbolizing the boundary between civilization and wilderness, the known and the unknown. They challenge our perception of reality, inviting us to question what we believe to be true. In the case of the Falk Monster, it resides in the dense Boggy Creek, a liminal space that is neither completely land nor water, but something in between. This ambiguity itself is representative of the creature's existence, which hovers between fact and fiction. Cryptids are also symbolic of our yearning for discovery and adventure. They fuel our curiosity, pushing us to venture beyond the safety of our known world in pursuit of the unknown. They remind us that despite our advancements in technology and knowledge, there are still mysteries out there, waiting to be unveiled. From a cultural perspective, cryptids often become interwoven into a community's identity, as is the case with the Falk Monster. It is not just a creature of legend, but also a part of the town's cultural heritage, a character in a shared narrative that binds the community together. Cryptid stories also tap into a universal human desire for wonder and mystery. They provide an escape from the mundane, a break from the rational and predictable world. They invite us to suspend disbelief, to entertain the possibility of the impossible. The Falk Monster, like all cryptids, offers us a tantalizing glimpse into a world that exists just beyond our understanding, a world where the line between the real and the fantastical blurs, and where monsters can emerge from the shadows of a murky swamp. In essence, the allure of cryptid stories like the Falk Monster lies not in their veracity, but in their ability to engage our imagination, to stir our curiosity, and to evoke a sense of wonder and mystery. They serve as a reminder that despite our efforts to map, categorize, and comprehend the world around us, there will always be corners of the earth that remain shrouded in mystery, and monsters that lurk within them. In the heart of every cryptid tale, such as the Falk Monster, lies a reflection of our own human need to grapple with the unknown. The monster in the swamp becomes a mirror, reflecting our own fears and curiosities of what might lie beyond the edges of our understanding. For some, the Falk Monster represents a terrifying intrusion of the inexplicable into everyday life. For others, it symbolizes the thrill of possibility, the allure of mystery, and the promise of adventure. In the end, the Falk Monster, much like other cryptids, renders visible the invisible line that separates belief from evidence. It exposes the tension between our yearning for tangible proof and our willingness to believe in the unseen, the unheard, and the unproven. The legend persists, not because it has been conclusively proven or thoroughly debunked, but because it straddles this delicate boundary, forever oscillating between reality and myth. The enduring allure of the Falk Monster and cryptids at large is a testament to our complex relationship with the unknown. They are not merely creatures of folklore and imagination, but emblems of the human struggle to reconcile knowledge with mystery, fear with curiosity, and disbelief with faith. They embody the paradox that is at the heart of our existence, our relentless pursuit of knowledge, and our simultaneous fascination with the mysteries that defy explanation. At its core, the legend of the Falk Monster is a narrative about us, about our desire to explore the boundaries of our world, about our need to make sense of the inexplicable. It is a story that resonates with our collective human experience, feeding our imagination, challenging our perceptions, and reminding us of the inherent mystery and wonder of our existence. It is in this clash between the known and the unknown, between belief and evidence, that the legend of the Falk Monster finds its enduring appeal. As we delve into the shadows of the murky swamp, we are not just searching for a monster, but for a deeper understanding of ourselves and our place in the world. And perhaps it is this quest, this insatiable thirst for knowledge and understanding, that is the true monster lurking in the depths of Boggy Creek. As the legend of the Falk Monster fades into the whispers of the wind rustling through the cypress trees and the eerie echoes of the swamp, we are left to ponder over these mysteries that refuse to die, these tantalizing enigmas that keep us forever on the brink of discovery, forever chasing shadows in the murky depths of the unknown. Thanks for listening. This has been Cryptid Files. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to support the show, subscribe to the Forbidden Knowledge Network on Patreon. Subscribe now.